מה טוב ומנעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומנעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומנעים, 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 שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב, הנה מה טוב, יא לה 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 לה. הנה מה טוב, הנה מה טוב, יא לה 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 לה. הנה מה טוב ומנעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומנעים, שבת אחים גם יחד.
Ina matov manayim shevet achim gam yachad. How good, how pleasant it is for us to be together, brothers, sisters, family, and friends for this daily daven. And excuse Idra and I as we take a big breath in and a big breath out, because the technology wasn't exactly working for us. And so we're really sorry for the slightly later start than usual, but we are so very, very glad to be here, and are so glad that so many of you stuck with us over those couple of minutes. I'm not sure if you put comments in the chat, if you reassured each other that we were coming, but yeah, we got out respectively in Elsternwick and in the city, and we did some pedaling and got things up and running again, and we are here together and are glad, so very, very glad for that. We are called unto life, destiny uncertain. Yet we offer thanks for what we know, for health and healing, for labor and repose, for renewal of beauty in earth and sky, for that blend of human holy which inspires compassion, for hope, eternal promising light, for life, for health, for hope, for beautiful, bountiful blessing. We praise to you, all source of being. Baruch atah Adonai, Makol nefesh, kol chai. The call to prayer on page 4.
ברכו את אדוני המבורך, ברוך אדוני המבורך לעולם ועד.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bidvaro ma'ariv v'aravim b'chokhmah potech sha'arim, ובדברו משנה עתים, ומחליף את הזמנים, ומסדר את הכוכבים, בשמרותיהם ברקיע כרצונו. בורא יום ולילה, גולה אור מפני חושך, וחושך מפני אור. ומעביל יום ובין לילה, ומבדיל בין יום ובין לילה, אדוני צבאות שמו, אל חי וקיים תמיד, ימלוך עלינו לעולם ועד, ברוך אתה אדוני, המעריב ערבים.
אהבת עולם בית ישראל, עמך אתה, תורה ומצוות, חוקים ומשפטים, אותנו לימדת. על כן אדוני אלוהינו, בשוכבנו ובקומנו, נשיח בחוקיך, ונשמח בדברי תורתך. Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Vaed. ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך, ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך. ויאמר אדוני אל משה לאמור, דבר אל בני ישראל, ואמרת עליהם, ועשו להם ציצית על כנפי בגדיהם לדורותם, ונתנו על ציצית הכנף תלתחלת, והיה לכם לציצית, וראיתם אותו, וזכרתם את כל מצוות אדוני, ועשיתם אותם, ולא תטו אחרי לבבכם, ואחרי עיניכם, אשר אתם זונים אחריהם. למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם. אדוני אלוהיכם אמת.
Emet on the top of page 14, and then on the facing page, page 15. Emet ve'emunah kol zot v'kayam aleinu, ki hu Adonai Eloheinu ve'ein zulato, va'anachnu Yisrael amo. In a world torn by violence and pain, a world far from wholeness and peace, give us the courage to say that there is one God in heaven and on earth. The high heavens declare your glory. May earth reveal your justice and love. From bondage in Egypt we were delivered. At Sinai we bound ourselves to your way. Inspired by prophets and instructed by sages, time and again we overcame oppressive forces. Though our failings are many and our faults are great, it has been our glory to bear witness to our God. You've been alive in dark ages, your vision of a world redeemed. Let us continue to work for the day when nations will be one and at peace. Then we shall rejoice as Israel did, singing these words on the shores of the sea. Let's join together now with Moses, Miriam, and all Israel. Ido, I don't know what melody you're doing, but dare I say, is it a melody of the season?
A melody of the season?
Yeah, we are kind of making our way through Elul.
Oh, good suggestion. Let's see if this is the right key. I don't know.
I'm not going to help you with the key.
Won't you help me sing these songs of freedom? It's all I ever had. Redemption songs. Oh, mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai. Oh, mi kamocha nedar b'kodesh. Noah tehilo osef eleh. Noah redemption song. מלכותך אהוב עליך בוקע הים לפני משה ומרים זה לי אנו ואמרו אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד. Won't you help me sing these songs of freedom? It's all I ever had. Redemption songs, redemption songs.
You know, that was a beautiful melody, and one that I didn't realize how much I needed. I needed today. Today has for many of us been a really challenging day. The numbers, the statistics we get, however much we rationalize them, we listen to the specialists telling us that so many people were isolated for so many days. It just gives a sense of the fact that we're going to be in this prolonged reality, or this reality for a prolonged period of time, I should say, and how much we feel the need for that redemptive spirit, that redemption, which, yes, on an entirely different level, our ancestors experienced when they were released from their Mitzrayim, from their narrow place. I hope that at some point soon we'll have the ability to be released from our narrow places, from our restrictions, from our confinement. We're going to move forward in our service to Hashkivenu. Hashkivenu is on page 18.
Adonai Eloheinu לשלום העמידנו מלכנו לחיים ופוס עלינו סוכת שלומך ותקננו בעצה טובה מלפניך והושיענו למען שמך והושיענו למען שמך והגן בעדנו והסר מעלינו ושמו צאתנו ובואנו לחיים ולשלום מעתה
Eternal One, God, our coming and our going to life and peace now and forevermore. Idor, I want to thank you for bringing your voice and your song and your spirit to our daily Daven this evening. I don't know if you have visibility of the comments in the chats, but our kehillah, our large kehillah this evening is very much grateful for all that you bring to us. And I'm going to come back and talk about that in a moment. But But for now, let's turn forward as a community together, even though we are apart, to the Amidah, which begins on page 74. The Amidah begins with 6 simple words that ask us to ask the divine, really, to allow us to have the ability to find the words, to say the things that we need to say, whether they be to ourselves, whether they be to our loved ones, or whether they be to the divine self. Adonai sefatai tiftach, ufi yagid tehilatecha. Eternal One, open our lips and our mouth may praise your glory.
Adonai sefatai tiftach, ufi yagid tehilatecha. Baruch ata Adonai, Eloheinu ve'Elohei avotenu ve'imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak ve'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel ve'Elohei Leah, האל הגדול הגיבור והנורא, אל עליון, גומל חסדים טובים וקונה הכל, וזוכר חסדי אבות ואימהות, ומביא גאולה לבני בניהם, למען שמו באהבה, מלך חוזר ומושיע ומגן, ברוך אתה אדוני, מגן אברהם ועזרת שרה. אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, מחיה מתים אתה רב להושיע, משיב הרוח ומוריד הגשם, מזריח השמש ומוריד הטל, מכלכל חיים בחסד, מחיה מתים ברחמים רבים, סומך נופלים ורופא חולים ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לישני עפר, מי כמוך בעל גבורות, ומדום מלך, מלך ממית ומחיה, ומצמיח ישועה, ונאמן אתה לחיות מתים, ברוך אתה אדוני, מחיה המתים. אתה קדוש ושמך הקדוש, וקדושים בכל יום יעללוך סלע, ברוך אתה אדוני, האל הקדוש.
Pause for a few moments, silent prayer as we move at least visually into the sanctuary. All these thoughts, all these prayers, all these hopes, all these dreams, all these aspirations, whether they be the prayers on the page of the prayer book or the prayers found deep within our heart. We ask with humility that the words of our mouths and the meditations of our heart be acceptable to you, our God, our rock, and our Redeemer.
עושה שלום שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ועמו אמן. עושה שלום שלום במרומיו, יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ועמו אמן. הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל אמן. שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל, ואמרו אמן, ועל כל ישראל
Amen, amen, and amen. As I take another big breath in, I recognize that I, like many of you, am doing okay. Not doing great, but doing okay. And I am sharing that with you because I think it's really important that we recognize that we're not great. Sure, we're blessed. I certainly feel blessed to be able to live in the home that I do, have the space that I do, have the continued employment that I have, and the security that surrounds all of those things. But it's still hard. It's really difficult. 200 days of lockdown. It adds up, and it takes a toll. And for many of us, it's hard to imagine how we're going to make it through another few weeks, and how, if need be, which it seems need be, we're going to make it into the high holidays, when we once again most likely will not be able to be together, at least not for Slichot, and certainly not for Slichot, and most likely not for Rosh Hashanah. And for that reason, I just want to take a moment to share with you that which is on your screens, it or not if it's on the screens, the high holiday page, which hopefully those of you who are members of the congregation have already activated your subscriptions for. Those of you who are not members of the congregation, just go to our website. There's an easy way to subscribe. We'd love you to be part of our growing community. But I'm sharing this resource with you because on it there are a host of resources to help us not just get through our 200th day in lockdown, but to also take those emotions, those things that we're feeling at the moment, and try and make something constructive, something healthy, something dynamic of them. First and foremost, if you haven't had a chance to read the articles that were written by my colleagues and myself for our Kol Yisrael magazine, I suggest that you have a look at them. The writings that were done in the magazine by myself, by Chancellor Loom, by Tammy Cohen, but then also once she returned from leave, a beautiful article there about preparing for the new year that Rabbi Ettlinger penned, and I'm sure many of you have not yet read it, and I would recommend it to you. But tonight, as we gather for daily Daven, as so many of you expressing your appreciation for particularly Idor, his song, and his not just his physical song, but his heart song, and what he brings to us on days of challenge like this. It's a particular high holiday project I want to bring to your attention. And it's over here under the button that says prepare. We drop down to blessings, and you see there that there is an invitation to engage in a process. A process for us as a community, members and friends of TBI, to help us make a visual or a virtual Rosh Hashanah card. I'll let Idor explain it for himself.
Hey everyone, Idor here. I hope you're doing well. I'm just working on a new piece of music for Rosh Hashanah, and I was thinking it would be great if we could share a few video messages from families wishing a Shana Tova to the rest of the congregation. So what I'd like to ask you to do is just make a short video, no more than 5 or 10 seconds, wishing a Shana Tova to everyone, and send those over as soon as you can. And what we're going to do is we're going to compile all those together, and then I'm going to underscore that with that new piece of music I'm working on. So I'm looking forward to getting those videos, and I'll see you soon.
Idor, mother's going to ask if you changed your sweater because you're wearing the same sweater as the one you wore in the video. But
There's no need to change sweaters. I'm at home all day.
but it is a wonderful project that we want to encourage people to participate in and to share. Again, I'll show you all the link to that. It is just the TBI page, High Holy Days, and then share a blessing. So it's there right on the screen in front of you, and I encourage you to do that. And without warning, I'm going to just briefly, there's a link at the bottom to click and send your video to Idor. Just as he said, just the shortest of videos. How's that piece of music coming along, Idor?
Pretty well.
I won't ask you to play any of it now, but
I might be able to. I might. It's not finished. It's I don't know.
We'll look forward to hearing it on Rosh Hashanah as part of our second night family service. But for now, let's turn forward to the closing prayers of our service to Aleinu, which can be found on page 586.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם. ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא, הקדוש ברוך הוא. ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא, ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו אחד.
And so before we conclude our service this evening, we're going to take a moment to think about those who are no longer with us, those who passed recently, and those who we are remembering at this time in our community. We want to begin first by thinking about those whose shloshim we are still observing as a community. We think of Inga Bertlinger, Howard Balin, Glenda Bernstein, Mary Cohen, Sylvia Forshaw, Raymond Fradkin, Sandor Gadjos, Raymond Gander, Zelek Kaminsky, Leonard Levine, Marjorie Luna, Esther Rose, Jill Stone, and Alan Wolfe. And on this evening, as we move towards the new year, we recognize the Yotzites, the anniversaries of the passing of Emmanuel Klemfner, father of Paula Cohen, of Eleanor Freeman, mother of Dr. Howard Freeman, and of John Hastings Reardon, great uncle of Elizabeth Beth Reardon. I also want to take a moment to recognize, as I did in the message I sent out to the congregation earlier today, the passing of a giant of progressive Judaism, of progressive Zionism, and of progressive Jewry, Rabbi Richard Hirsch. I had the privilege to study briefly under Rabbi Hirsch, and he was an inspiration not just to me, but to generations of rabbis who grew up in a mold that he himself formed. And he will be sorely missed, together with all of those who we have loved and lost. I invite you to join with me in the words of Kaddish Tom, which can be found on page 598. Yitgadal levi kadash shemer rabba, ועמד דברי חירותי והמליך מלכותי, וחייכונו ומחונו וכי לכל בית ישראל, בעגלה בזמן קריב ואמרו אמן. יהי שמי רבה מבורך לעולם עמי עמיה, יפרח וישתבח ויפאר ויתרומן ויתנשא, ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי לקודשה ובריחו, לעילם מן כל בריחתה ושירתה, תושבחתה ונחמתה, דמירן בעלמה ואמרו אמן. יהי שלבה רבה מן שמיה, וחיים עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו אמן. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו amen. May the one who causes peace to reign in the heavens above bring peace to all of us, to all humanity, and to that we say amen. And so before we leave each other this evening, as I invite those of you who are interested or able to join with Caroline Paz and myself in about an hour's time for our continued move through the LL Book Club, through the wonderful work of Michal Oshman. What would you do if you weren't afraid? We are obligated to pause to think about what the year has been, what the year might be, to think about the things we want to leave behind in 5,781 and the things we want to welcome in 5,782. And we do that through the sounding of the shofar. I think to do that, I have to turn that button on there. May this new year be one of blessing, healing, meaning, purpose, and togetherness for each and every one of us. Idor, a final song.